welcome to Pink Blade. Here, we don't just watch stories, we step inside them.
Yeah.
Today, we're diving deep into Bridgerton Season 4, Episode 2. Okay, so let's just dive right in. If the premiere was, the dream, the masquerade ball, the silver dress, that whole midnight magic feeling, then this episode is the hangover. It is absolutely the morning after, the lights are on, and frankly, the headache is real. We are pulled out of that glittery Mayfair world and dropped right into the cold reality of downstairs.
It is such a harsh pivot, isn't it? But a really necessary one. Structurally, Bridgerton usually keeps us, comfortable. We stay in the drawing rooms, we're at the balls.
Right.
But here, the camera is forcing us to look at the labor that powers that entire fantasy. We're not just, watching Sophie bake script floors. We're seeing the actual mechanics of a class system that makes the Bridgerton lifestyle possible. It's almost like the show is saying, okay, you love the fairy tale, now look at what it costs.
And the cost is it's brutal. It's such a jarring contrast. You have Benedict Bridgerton, who is losing his absolute mind over this lady in silver. He's sketching her, he's dreaming about her.
Obsessed.
And miles away, the woman he's obsessed with is being systematically erased. I think we have to talk about the Penwood household first, because the vibe there is so specific. It's not just mean, it's precise.
Terror within perfection. That's what the production design team called it. And it is. It's suffocating. Everything is perfectly in its place. It's all expensive, but there is absolutely no warmth.
None.
And that terror is really anchored in a specific legal status that we see in the flashbacks. Sophie isn't just a servant. She is technically a ward.
See, and to a modern ear, that word ward sounds protective. It sounds like a guardian angel or something.
Oh, right.
But the way Araminta guns Sophie's stepmother, the way she weaponizes that word, it feels so dangerous.
Because in the Regency-era, ward is often a polite fiction. It's a way to put this veneer of propriety over illegitimacy. It forces everyone in the room to sort of participate in this lie. And the tragedy here is the betrayal of the late Earl's will. He promised to protect her, but because the physical will is missing, and we can all guess how that happened, Araminta has the power to strip Sophie of her heritage completely.
And she doesn't just strip her of money. She strips her of her identity. That line Araminta delivers, that Sophie must be an invisible housemate to survive. It's just chilling. It's not a job offer, it's a prison sentence. She's basically saying, you can exist, but only if nobody sees you.
And that sets the stakes for the entire season. I mean, Sophie isn't just fighting for love or for a husband. She is fighting for her own existence, to just be a person.
While Benedict.
Meanwhile, you have Benedict, who is spiraling in the complete opposite direction. He's manic, he's sketching frantically, he's chasing a ghost.
He's, down bad, as the internet would say.
Yeah.
But there is this massive disconnect. He's chasing a fantasy while the real woman is on her knees scrubbing his family's crest off a floor.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating.
That disconnect is the engine of the episode. And the writers use a really interesting structural device to highlight it. Did you notice the rewind?
Yes. The whole narrative it pauses. We stop moving forward and we go back to fill in the blanks from the masquerade night. Why do that? Why hit the brakes in episode 2? You'd think you'd want to keep the momentum.
It's to demystify the fantasy. In episode 1, the lady in silver felt magical, almost ethereal. In the rewind, we see the logistics. We see her stealing the shoes. We see the dress being pulled out of a dusty attic. It turns Sophie from a kind of manic pixie dream girl into a flesh and blood survivor. We see the sweat and the panic behind all the magic.
And we meet the squad. Irma and Alfie. I actually love that detail. Seeing the downstairs staff rooting for her really grounds her. She's not just some lonely Cinderella in a tower. She has a community. She has people who care if she gets caught.
Exactly. It makes her feel real. But that rewind also, it sets up the inevitable crash. Benedict teams up with Violet and Eloise to find her. And I have to give credit to Violet Bridgerton here. She spots the Penwood crest on that glove like she's a Regency Sherlock Holmes.
She is so good. Violet misses nothing. But that clue leads Benedict straight to Penwood House, and he finds absolutely nothing. He meets the stepsisters, Rosamund and Posey. He meets the terrifying Araminta, but he fails to find her.
That failure is probably the most important plot point of the first half of the season. If he'd found her at Penwood House, the fantasy just continues. He, puts the shoe on her foot, and they live happily ever after.
Right.
By failing, he's forced to abandon the search for the lady. He has to actually go out into the real world, specifically the muddy, rainy countryside where he can meet the real Sophie.
And that leads us to the scenes that have everyone talking. The emotional weight in the second half of this deep dive it's heavy. We have to break down that doorway scene.
Yeah.
That felt like a real turning point.
Oh, it is. It's a masterclass in framing from the director, Jafar Mahmood. You have Benedict standing there in the drawing room, being all charming and kind. And then you have Sophie watching him through a literal crack in a door. The camera just keeps putting barriers between them.
And the music choice, the string cover of Taylor Swift's Enchanted. I think every Swiftie watching just grabbed their chest.
But if you listen closely to the arrangement, it's slowed way, way down. Enchanted is usually this song about sparkly hope, please don't be in love with someone else. But here, the tempo turns it into a song of resolution. It almost plays like a funeral dirge for her dreams. Wow. It underscores that she's close enough to touch him, but she's worlds apart. It's tragic, not hopeful.
Yerin Ha's performance in that moment just sold it completely, that silent scream into her hands. It reminded me so much of that devastating Emma Thompson scene in Love Actually, just holding it all in, because if you make a sound, you lose everything.
It captures the theme of invisibility perfectly. Benedict literally looks right past her hiding spot. But notice what Sophie is actually reacting to. She isn't just, swooning over his looks or his status. She's watching how he treats Posey.
Yes. Posey is so clearly the outcast. She's awkward and nervous, and she's rambling on about her hand feet. And Benedict isn't mocking her. He's genuinely listening to her. I think that's the moment Sophie falls for his character, not for his title.
It grounds her affection in reality. She sees his kindness when nobody important is watching, which is in total contrast to the chaos later at the Cavender estate. This is where we see what the fans are calling angry Benedict.
I was not prepared for feral Benedict. He's on a bender. He looks a mess. He's drinking. And then he sees Lord Cavender harassing Sophie and another maid, Hazel, and he just snaps.
This fight is so pivotal for his arc. I mean, think about Benedict in previous seasons. He's the spare. He's the artist. He just sort of floats through life with a joke and a smile. Here, he gets into a primal physical fight. He gets injured on broken glass. It establishes this hard moral line for him. He protects women, regardless of their station. He doesn't care that she's a maid. He cares that she's being mistreated.
But the dramatic irony is just painful. He rescues her. He bleeds for her. He's holding her.
Yeah.
And he still doesn't realize she's the lady in silver.
And that irony resets their entire dynamic. They are not prince and princess anymore. They are gentleman and maid. It strips away all the magic of the ball and forces them to interact as two humans in a messy, dangerous reality. He has to save her physically now, not just metaphorically.
Speaking of messy realities, we have to talk about the subplot with Queen Charlotte and Lady Danbury. This wasn't just filler. This was heartbreaking.
It hits so much harder if you've seen the prequel, Queen Charlotte.
Yeah.
The queen is refusing to read Whistledown. She's isolating herself. To a casual viewer, it might look like, petulance or stubbornness.
Right.
But it's actually terror.
She's terrified of King George's impending death. Is that it?
Precisely. She feels completely out of control when it comes to her husband's mortality, so she tries to exert control over her subjects. When she lashes out at Lady Danbury saying, "You are my subject," it's a defense mechanism. She's pushing people away before they can leave her.
And Brimsley, the absolute MVP, steps in when he begs Agatha to stay because the world is getting smaller. That broke me. And then seeing Lady Danbury drop her cane to embrace the queen, that's friendship transcending protocol.
It really elevates the episode from a simple romance to a meditation on grief and loneliness. It's a reminder that everyone in this show, from the Queen of England down to the maid in the attic, is dealing with some kind of isolation. Power doesn't protect you from grief.
I want to pivot a bit to the production details, because the team made some very deliberate choices to highlight that isolation, that contrast between upstairs and downstairs. Let's talk costumes first.
The visual storytelling is so distinct here. You have Violet Bridgerton dressed as Titania, Queen of the Fairies, for the masquerade. It signals she's entering this softer, more romantic era. She's ready for love again.
And you contrast that with Araminta. The designers said they were going for a Regency and a Wintour vibe.
She's the first major character in all of Bridgerton to consistently wear black. It visualizes her villainy. She's a void in the room. She just absorbs all the light.
Wow.
And then there's Benedict. The inspiration was apparently Shakespeare in Love. They wanted him to look romantic, but unfussy. Like the clothes were an afterthought to his emotion. He's not perfectly pressed like Anthony always is.
And to make the downstairs feel authentic, I read this production note that said they boiled 200 fresh eggs for the kitchen scenes.
200 eggs.
Yes, just to have them peeling and cooking in the background.
It sounds funny, but it really matters. The steam, the smell, the clutter, it makes the labor feel real. So when you see Sophie surrounded by that chaos, her exhaustion feels earned. It grounds the whole fantasy.
And the cast clearly felt that weight, too. Yurin Ha talked about channeling her own imposter syndrome, joining this massive show into Sophie's character.
It's a very meta approach, but it's effective. Sophie feels she doesn't belong in the Bridgerton world, and Yurin Ha apparently used her own nerves about joining this huge franchise to fuel that. And Luke Thompson noted the physicality of Benedict's anxiety. If you watch him closely this episode, he's constantly fidgeting, playing with his buttons, licking his lips. He just can't sit still.
And he called that fight scene primal. It's the mask coming off the polite gentleman. It's like underneath all that velvet, there's actually a fighter.
It completely changes how we see him. He's not just the fun brother anymore. He has a dangerous edge to him.
Okay, we have to address the elephant in the room. The fans have thoughts, specifically about the recognition trope.
Yes. The Superman glasses effect. Why doesn't he recognize her?
It's frustrating some viewers. They're screaming at the screen like, she's right there. It was just a half mask. You kissed her.
I fall into the defense camp on this one. Context is everything. I mean, think about it. He meets her in the mud, in the rain, dressed as a maid, looking terrified. It creates a kind of cognitive dissonance. He's looking for a goddess in silver.
Right.
His class conditioning literally blinds him to the possibility that the deity from the ball is the servant in the mud.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's not just a disguise. It's a psychological block.
Yeah.
He can't see her because he doesn't expect to see her there.
Exactly. We see what we expect to see. And Benedict does not expect a lady to be scrubbing floors.
There's also just so much love for Posey.
Oh, the Posey love is real.
She's just so wholesome. The fans have immediately latched onto her hand seat story. She feels like the anti-Bridgerton in the best way, just awkward and sweet.
She represents innocence in a house of total corruption. She's the only one in that Penwood household who hasn't been twisted by Araminta.
So, if we take all of this in the class issues, the failed search, the fight in the mud, what is the big question this episode leaves us wrestling with?
I think it boils down to two lines. Benedict asking, "What is your name?" and Sophie asking, "Why did you rescue me?"
So it's asking if a connection can survive taking off the mask.
Exactly. Can Benedict fall in love with the reality of Sophie, the person with no status, the person he has to save from a brawl, as deeply as he fell for the fantasy of the lady in silver?
It's the difference between loving a dream and loving a person.
And the episode title, Time Transfixed, suggests we are trapped right between the two. The audience is stuck between the dream of the ball and the harshness of the real world, just waiting for those two things to finally reconcile.
Well, we are certainly waiting to see how he reacts when he finally finds that missing glove. But for now, I suppose we are stuck in the mud right there with him.
Thanks for listening to Pink Blade. If this episode revealed something new, you can follow to explore the next chapter. And if a moment stayed with you, share it in the comments. Until next time, this is Pink Blade.